2, and 1. No, it's nice to see them come around once in a while. The Sharks put a butt whooping on the St. Louis Blues on Hockey Fights Cancer Night. We're going to break it on down and more. We're celebrating a win. Yeah! All right. Right now here on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, Sharks fans all over the world and in Sharks territory. Your Sharks win 5-1. What? 5-1? I thought they weren't allowed to score more than 3 in a game. Oh, well. Over the St. Louis Blues. We're going to break this one down here on Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. So if you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow Sharks fans, as I said, all over the world and in Sharks territory, here on the YouTube page or the app. And follow us on the social. Find everything at teal10usa.com. And if you want to support the pod, hit us up Venmo at teal10usa or a super chat donation on the YouTube chat. And we're so excited. You have 3 of us tonight. Yeah! All right. Joining me tonight is Jules.
We have a win when I'm on. That never happens at this point in the season.
This is part of the reason why, we wanted you on. But, of course, now that makes Ian disappear. So, Ian, how are you, buddy?
Great. When the Sharks do good, it's good.
Uh-oh.
I know I'm supposed to wait for that at the end of the show, but I don't know what else to say. And yeah.
Oh, fun. Oh, I love Skype. It's so wonderful.
Skype is the best.
Oh gosh.
Let me make sure. Is it me?
I'll go for some reason. So.
Ew.
Kurt Price, our good friend at Let's Go Blues Radio. Bad dream didn't happen. Yeah, that's what we said about the hand pass too. But
Oh no! What are we doing?
I don't know. But hey, it is good to have both of you on. It's good to see multiple faces. Chat, I see you are already blowing up. I love it. I love it. I love it. Richard Davalos, plan the parade.
Oh, God.
Jesse L. Team was bound to play at least one good game this season. Big Bird, a 5-1 win. What? The best game of the year. 86. Okay, we're getting a little too crazy here. Give us the Stanley already. Yeah, maybe the one that you can get up at Dick's Sporting Goods or something. The massive thing. So, all right. Well, let's break this down. And talk about this game where the Sharks. I mean, everything was against them. It was like the 93-94. Sharks all over again, where they came into the season where they just couldn't beat the Blues in forever. The Blues were 7-0-2 in their last 9 against the Sharks. I think the last time the Sharks beat the Blues in regulation was like 5 years ago. But Jules, it started off nice and early, 2 minutes in. Mike Hoffman, when you get one, then they just start flowing, and it just seemed like it was off to a nice start with Hoffman's first goal in the night.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't process that goal. It took me a solid 40 seconds to figure out the Sharks score, not the Blues. So I'm going to be so real. I did not process that goal, but Hoffman had himself quite a game. That bumping up that trade value.
Yes.
Not mad about it.
Ian, that was a sweet pass from, I almost said Nico Sturm there to get things going for him.
Yeah, I mean, this was a night where I thought that the Sharks, the lines just kind of clicked, right? And you look at the scratches, and you kind of go into this game thinking, well, this should be interesting, because I know. Look, at Kevin Labank's a really divisive guy, and I think that he's a player that I really like, but he's also a player who I have to acknowledge has wound up in the doghouse of 3 different coaches. And I've said this before. This isn't a new thing that I've decided tonight, right? It's I like the player, but 3 different coaches have put him in the doghouse. And so it's at some point, maybe, something's going on here. And there was some really interesting conversation about Kevin Labanc on Twitter tonight. But I thought, I liked the way that they kind of set the lines here tonight. I thought that They were really interesting, and for the most part, it really paid off. I thought all 4 lines were clicking. And you got some really interesting looks from a lot of different places where, the Sharks this year, let's be honest, you're not getting decent looks from anywhere for the most part. But tonight, the Sharks played a really complete game. I really like the way the lines look tonight. And, again, like Mike Hoffman, I said on Twitter that this is a game where I think a lot of like people that are on my shit list, we know what the score is for this team, right? Like this team is not a good team for the most part. But my Shark shit list is kind of empty right now. Like it's kind of hard to be mad at Luke Kunin at this point when he's kind of been on a tear. Mike Hoffman starting to get on a little bit of a tear too. For my bread and butter is coming on here and being angry, and I have nothing to be mad about.
Wait till the Kuda game.
Oh. Oh boy. So that was after one. It was 1-0, and then all of a sudden the Sharks just start to go off. Eklund tips in a puck from the point from a Hotiuk to make it 2-0. Yes, I see Jules is very excited about that. You have go ahead.
Whenever Eklund gets a goal, it's like that guy's he played a really good game. He had some rough moments today, but also bless Zetterlund for his 2 blocks right in the same spot. But yeah, so I love when Eklund scores. I always freak out. Future man.
And then 2 goals from the fourth line in a minute. First, Giovanni Smith with the biggest smile on his face. Gets his first of the season. The interesting one from, and of course, I'll credit Uncle Darren Stevens, Shark Stats on Twitter, the 300th different player to score for the San Jose Sharks. Very cool there. And then not even a minute later, Luke Kunin extends his goal-scoring streak to 3 games with his 4th of the year. Ian, do we have a 4th line?
We had one tonight. I don't want to get too excited again because, I think, eventually we'll have to talk about the Blues at some point here too, because this is a team I thought I didn't have the Sharks winning this game, and I didn't have it definitely had them winning this decisively. Sometimes you take a night off against a bad team. And I think that's what the Blues did tonight. They weren't really good to start. I think they came on in the third, but I think score effects are obviously going to play a factor there too. When you get up that point, it's easy for a team. But I mean, look at when the Sharks were good, how many times did we get on and be like, oh, the Sharks played down to their opponent? I think, that's the trap the Blues kind of got caught in tonight, because they really didn't get going until probably the end of the first, and I don't think they got going too much. Like Joel Hofer got pulled tonight, and I think it was kind of like a night where if you're a Blues fan, you're probably not too mad at the goalie because the team in front of him was pretty bad. Binnington came in, but the damage was already done at that point. It's already, they're already down by 4, whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's nice to see the Sharks do good, but I think it's definitely a situation where the Blues, the Sharks did a lot of things right, but I think also the Blues kind of played down to their opponent and probably didn't really. It's easy when you look at how the Sharks have played this season to come into San Jose and be like, whatever, this is a laugher. We're good. And I think, it's still the NHL. Some teams are going to get bit if you don't come in and respect your opponent a little bit. I think,
Right.
Nights like this are going to happen where the Sharks are going to look really good and it's going to bite them in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Couple of things we got to get to. A super chat donation, of course, from Jerry F. Thank you so much, our friend. Wow, we are actually celebrating a 5-1 Sharks win. Yes, you'd love to see it. And Kevin, you said, and he's got a great point. Look, the Sharks were going to beat some team's backup goalie at some point.
Is Hofer the backup though? I'd have to look at the numbers. Is he the backup? Is Binnington still a starter there? Because I feel Hofer's numbers are pretty good. I think, like I said, I haven't really watched the Blues play this year. But I mean, if you look at the counting stats, right? Like the Blues came in, they won their last 3. I think they were a point out of it's November, obviously, so you don't want to go too deep into standings. But I think they're like a point behind. They were a point behind Winnipeg coming into tonight to be in third place in their division. So I mean, like on paper, everything the Blues, like I haven't watched the Blues play a ton tonight, but like coming up to this point. But I mean, I look at the numbers and the Blues are obviously doing good things. Kurt would have to. Okay, Benner's the number one. Okay, fair enough.
Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, but like coming into tonight, like the Blues, good team, and I don't think like if you're looking at Hofer, I don't think it's his fault that they lost tonight. The team in front of him played like crap, and if there's something that Sharks fans should be very aware of right now, it's a goalie not being the problem and the team in front of him looking like crap.
Yep. We had one more goal from Mike Hoffman. It was his second of the
there
game.
You go,
To make it 5-0. Jules, credit to Zadina, who was one of many who had an assist. That pass,
I did not see that coming. I did not think that pass was going to go through for a second because I think there was another Blues player right behind Hoffman, and I thought he was going to snatch it up. So when Hoffman hit it, I was like, oh, damn, Hoffman's on a breakaway. Granlund can't hit his breakaways. Hoffman can. Thanks, AJ, for that on Twitter. But yeah, no, sick pass by Zadina. The guy's starting to find his groove, and honestly, I'm very glad he is.
Indeed. That made it 5-0, a good old-fashioned whooping. Unfortunately for Kaapo Kahkonen, who had a great night, and it just seems like he either never got goal support or just had that just a follow mode. And unfortunately, would allow a goal. It was a tip-in by Buchnevich off of a Justin Falk shot late in the game to ruin the shutout. But Ian, Kaapo Kahkonen, I mean, has had some
not
chances.
My guy, notoriously not my guy. But tonight I thought he was really good. Zdeno, like you mentioned earlier, Jules, about like Zdeno's pass there, like he was really good tonight, I thought. But unfortunately, he kind of wears the goat horns on this one because he kind of did the way he turned over the puck, not really good. But I mean, other than that, like a really good game by Zadina. But I think you have to point out, like, you have to call out something when it's there. Not a great turnover for him. The Sharks were kind of a little bit scrambly in the third, I thought. And again, score effects, you're up by 5. This is what happens in hockey in general. And I think that, unfortunately, a really nice shot by Justin Falk and a really great tip by Buchnevich. And unfortunately, it ends the shutout bid for Kaapo Kahkonen, who again, I think Kahkonen had a really good night tonight. Kahkonen's a guy who I have not really been a big fan of over the last little bit. I think Blackwood's kind of clearly become the number one guy, but I don't want to take anything from Kaapo Kahkonen tonight. He had a really good game, and it sucks that the shutout bid got ruined. But I think more importantly, for a goalie on this team, like the W is just nice. It's nice to get a W in when you can, and obviously, that's not been easy for Kahkonen, and I'm happy that he got the W tonight.
Yeah, nice victory. His first one of the season, of course. Coming into this game, the poor guy dealt with no goal support whatsoever, with just 3 goals for the Sharks while Kaapo was in net. And, that doesn't help things, but a .978 save percentage does help things a long way there.
He had a good game. Something I said like on Twitter, it's in the first period, because I thought like the first shot the Blues had, like that was a really good save. And it's sometimes like it sucks getting shelled every night, right? Like, and that's generally what the Sharks goalies have done. But what can also suck for a goalie is not doing anything. And for a long time in the first period, Kaapo Kahkonen didn't have to do anything. So it was nice because I was happy when he made that save, and I was kind of happy that it continues, because sometimes not doing anything can be just as bad for a goalie as getting just, absolutely shelled with shots. And it was kind of one of those saves where it's like, it kind of set the tone for him for the game, because it was one of those saves where shots like that have easily beaten Kaapo Kahkonen. And then this is a completely different game, right? If that shot goes in, that could become a completely different game if, he lets that one in and it kind of is, for him, it's like, ah, shit, here we go again. And for the team, ah, shit, here we go again. Because there have been times where I think the Sharks have come out strong, and, and then sometimes Kaapo Kahkonen has let them down. Not so much this season. I don't want to say like this season has been it hasn't been a great one for Kaapo Kahkonen. It hasn't been a great one for the Sharks in general. But I think it was, it was good to see him get that save and kind of carry that through and carry that momentum. Because I think sometimes that's all it takes is one shot to kind of really screw with the guy's confidence.
Yeah, it's a nice win for Kaapo there, and it can just get it boosted. Kevin kind of reminding us of some of Nabby's classic performances. I remember Nabokov having a lot of 3-goal, 15 save performances to go with his 2-goal, 32 save performances. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree on there. Jules, I hate to have this be kind of the obvious question to ask, but I'll ask it anyways. What was it tonight? Was it the Blues just playing down like Ian said, or is it just the Sharks? Maybe they're emptying the tank because they don't play till Monday.
I mean, you saw at periods at times the Blues just took over the game. It was a lot of momentum swings with this game. Like once the Sharks gave up a giveaway, they were in their zone for like probably 5 minutes solid. Like it felt like the Blues were on a power play. So either the Blues just didn't have it on, because they're a good team. Like you look at their roster, they're a good team. They have a good goalie. So I think the Blues just did not have it on and were playing down to the Sharks, because at times the Blues definitely took over the game. But you have to give credit where it's due to the Sharks. They came out and they're like, we're going to start strong. We're not going to have a slow start. I think having the penalty kill really early on gave them momentum and helped them, because at the beginning of the year, they couldn't kill a penalty to save their life. So I think it was just the momentum played in the Sharks' favor, but also the Blues just were not fully themselves, because I saw them beat up on the Avs like 7-1, what was it, like literally less than a week ago. So yeah.
And you go from 2 weeks ago where you're giving up 10 spots to Vancouver and Pittsburgh, and it just changes around. It's a nice time, a nice thing to see. Where they just. And we're starting to get comments from the locker room, like from Kahkonen. Shutouts are cool, but I only care about the win. And boy, howdy, did they need one, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think if you like, I'm also looking in the chat, right? And people are like, yeah, it's good, but they didn't play a 6-minute game. And I'm like, this season, man, like the games like tonight, like just trust me on this one. And I think we should be smart at this. Like, sometimes you just take the win and be happy, man, because again, I don't think the Sharks were going to get blown out by 10 goals every game this season, but games like this, like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to get on a heater and we're going to come on here in a few days and be like, oh my God, the tank, what are they doing? The tank. But I really feel like games like tonight, yeah, they didn't play a 60-minute game. Yeah, things got a little squirrely in the third, but you know what? Enjoy it, because games like this are going to be much fewer and far between, where I think the Sharks did a lot of good things. And I think, the Sharks might do a lot of good things in a loss too, but I think hey, take the win, man. Like sometimes you just have to take the win.
Yeah. I mean, with them having just 3, right now, it's nice to
Celebrini. Sorry. Oh.
Yeah, look at. I mean, it's obviously like we do want to come on here. We want to be critical of certain things, but I think at some point, again, this team is bad, and I think tonight a lot of things worked out. I think a lot of the lines were clicking for the Sharks, but I also think that the Blues really just came in and said, it's the Sharks, fuck it, whatever, right? So I think at some point you want to enjoy things. I would rather people enjoy a night like tonight than get super critical and find reasons to be mad at it. That's all I'm saying.
This team isn't going to win a lot of games, y'all. This is very few and far in between. So take the wins when you can. Enjoy the fact that they look good right now, and we couldn't say that 2 weeks ago. So take it
again, right? I think the Sharks have 7 points now.
Yes.
Yeah. 7 points.
Like
Yes.
They're still
was
bottom
a
of the
long
league.
dirt road here to there, and I look at not every team is going to come in here and be like, it's the Sharks, we don't have to do anything, and sometimes like things just aren't going to work out, right? Like I think the Sharks got it. Like again, they got a really good performance from Kaapo Kahkonen, who made a shit ton of saves after not having to do anything for the first part of the first period, right? After that, I mean, like again, what was his final numbers? I know like the save percentage is gaudy, obviously, but it's gaudy because again, like he made 44 saves tonight, right? So it wasn't like he was just doing nothing all night. Like again, like the Sharks are gonna lose more of these games than they're going to win. That's just the reality of it. Anytime where you're facing, facing 40 plus shots a night is not a winning recipe. So you just gotta sometimes enjoy it.
You have to enjoy it. It's 3-13-1. They currently have 7 points. They are, and I say this very jokingly, so calm down, people. They are just 11 points out of a playoff spot. I mean,
there we go. Plan the parade.
Plan the parade. Sharks are making the playoffs. Who are we playing? Vancouver?
Like David Quinn said that we were fearless tonight. I think they did. Like I think again, the Sharks did a lot of good things. You want to talk about a lot of good things the Sharks did? I thought like especially early on in the game, like the D seemed to pinch at all the right times. Like everything just kind of went. Everything came up Millhouse tonight.
It's just, it's nice to see. I mean, I love Addison's shot, by the way.
I love Addison.
I mean, that's a great
sometimes
pickup.
Things are just gonna go your way, right? Like I don't know, man. Like again, I am going to enjoy when the Sharks do good. It's good, and this season, with the way things have gone, like I'm sorry, I will enjoy a night like tonight
Absolutely,
as much as I can and soak it in. Because again, right? Like this, things will get back to normal.
The Sharks will get back to losing y'all and no worries, and we'll be back up here saying tanking and whatever and talking about like 8-1 losses again. Yeah. Just enjoy the win.
Right. And that's what I've been telling people, especially early on. It's like, yeah, this is going to be like 92-93 if it's going to be this bad. Enjoy the wins when you get them. And this one's one of those ones where you can really, really enjoy it. So.
Also, can we talk about Daniil Gushin looks very good again for his second game?
Gushin's a guy like Gushin's going to be a guy where I think guys are going to get healthy, and I think eventually someone's going to have to go down, and I'm going to be mad that Gushin goes down. Like I was not mad at all when Bordeleau went down. I think I'm like, for some reason, I'm super in the minority here, and I don't understand what Bordeleau you guys were all watching when he was playing in the NHL this season. But Gushin's going to go down, and I'm going to be very angry about it.
Gushin should not go down. He's playing so good. The confidence he has, like Drew Remenda was talking about at pregame show, like the confidence he has is ridiculous. Like he's playing really well right now, especially with Granlund at his center. And nothing against Granlund, but like he's playing well with and him and Duclair are going to be fun to watch this year until whoever gets back gets back.
Yeah. It's going to be That's going to be the interesting one when Barbie gets back and when Couture gets back.
Heated chat tonight, guys. Here's the thing. Here's the one thing. Like, and look at. I know some people think I'm like I've just become like this super, this super pushover on Twitter because I don't really get in the muck. Sometimes it's okay to disagree. It's fine to agree to disagree. Sometimes I don't know, man. Like sometimes it's fine to agree to disagree. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to fight people. Like,
who are you?
Are you okay?
It's fine. It's fine. I know sometimes like I come on here and I get really mad and I get really heated. I'm a passionate dude, right? So I get it. Like, cause I'm super passionate and I'm like super, like I think I come on here and I feel like I come on here with a lot of conviction on the things I say, and I think people enjoy what I do here because, like, obviously I believe what I'm saying. Like, I don't come on here and do a bit, but like sometimes sometimes it's okay to agree to disagree. Like, you're not gonna win over everyone.
Can we just enjoy a win?
Yeah,
that's all I'm asking. Please, y'all.
Absolutely. Kevin Lacey in the chat. Y'all know I gushed about Gushin Well, last season went along. Yes, absolutely. And he made sure to mention that it was not a pun, by the way. Although Ian, he does suggest a future TTG episode gushing over Gushin.
I mean, it's all I do. Like, I feel like anything like about the Barracuda, even when I've been like the most sour on the Barracuda this year, I don't think I've ever said, like, I've always said, like, Gushkin's been the MVP this season so far. And like, we talked, and it's a good segue actually, because if you are looking for some Barracuda content, me and Kevin did sit down with Nick Nolenberger last night. We talked about the Barracuda for about an hour. So if you are looking for some Barracuda content, that is there. I know it took a while to get on the auto stream. I apologize. YouTube sometimes screws with me when I do dumb things like not record the show on my own and wait for YouTube to let me download it. Sometimes YouTube says, you know what, Ian? Fuck you. You can wait a day and a half to download that episode. So it took forever to get it on the audio. So for the people that are listening right now that are audio people, I apologize it took so long. Sometimes you do dumb shit like you don't record it yourself and you have to kind of be at YouTube's mercy, and that's what happened there. But again, yeah, if you are looking for some like Barracuda content, me and Kevin did sit down with Nick Nolenberger yesterday. I think it was a solid show. It usually is. I think Nick obviously gives some really good insights, being the voice of the Barracuda better. Sometimes, I love our crew, but it's nice to get, people who are a little more in the trench and a little more professional than I sometimes tend to be, especially on here.
Well, it's the voice of the Barracuda. And of course, congrats to Nick for calling his first NHL game on Sunday, so I totally get it. Kurt, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and just dropping some knowledge from the chat. Not letting me get away with saying is Bennington the guy still? Like, I don't know. Again, I haven't watched the Blues a lot this year. I've tried to watch like more hockey, but like I've never I love, like, don't get me wrong, like I love the guys from Let's Go Blues, but like the Blues have never been my this is a team I must watch team. And that's just a me thing. That's not a knock on those guys. I love those guys.
Yeah, and you can check them out on Let's Go Blues Radio on YouTube and such. They are the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast with Jeff Ponder and Billy Blue Note.
Yeah, I love those guys. Like, don't get me wrong, I totally love those guys. But I haven't watched a lot of Blues. And I know Binnington's like kind of been all over the place. So like, could it be a situation where he had lost the job? Yep. Maybe. I don't know, man. I like Joel Hofer. I really like Hofer as a goalie. So
he's a good goalie prospect.
Yeah. Like he's a dude that I really like. So, but sometimes sometimes I say dumb things on here. It happens every once in a while. It doesn't happen very often, but once in a while.
So let's get to some of the comments in the chat from the locker room, I should say.
This is what happens when I have like my hair not tied back and like all like I apparently become a nice guy.
You let the hair down.
Going on tonight. I left my hair down and I'm not a nice dude, apparently. I become a nice dude. I don't
Jules can let her hair down. I have not a whole lot of hair to let down. So I digress. Let's check in with Ryan Carpenter. We were checking in well and playing simple, low to high, quick, getting bodies to the net. Yeah,
Ryan Carpenter with 2 assists tonight.
Yep, on that fourth line. Got out of the D zone clean. Lots of communication. It was great to get rewarded tonight. We had to check better than last game. We got back to our game, not getting too cute. Thank you. We'll take the wins if it doesn't have to be a fancy between the legs shot from Gushchin. We'll take the dirty goal where it just
I will 100% take them, but yeah, it doesn't always have to be fancy.
Right. For Carpenter, he continues on. I signed the 2-way deal. Didn't know what would happen. Just trying to get better every day and stay positive. For him, so he's also one of those guys that maybe he gets sent back down to Dakota when the team gets a little bit healthier. So we'll see on that. With Kaapo Kahkonen, winning is always great. Never get tired of that. Great effort overall. Started every period well. We were willing to do the right thing for 60 minutes tonight. Huge blocks. Yes, indeed. Every line was going. Every deep pair was going. It obviously brings clarity to the game, especially when we have the puck that much. which is something they really haven't had. That's for gosh darn sure. We stick together, show up every day. Stuff happens, but we move forward. We will enjoy tonight and get back to work and set the sights on the next game. Easy for me to say. Shutouts are cool, but I only care about the win. Yeah, I had a tough time getting that tongue twister out. Way to go, Eric. I was a part of.
Yeah, I mean, look at shutouts are great, and don't get me wrong. Like it would have been super awesome for Kaapo Kahkonen to get a shutout, and of course it would have been. That's fantastic, especially for a guy who I like routinely. Like he's like my go-to beat 'em up person on this team. I mean, it's hard when like Luke Kunin has actually become good last few games. Again, like my shit list is really empty now. Like it's really unfortunate because it especially in a season like this, it's easy to find guys that you can just beat up on. I don't have anyone to beat up on tonight.
Who was your AHL Luke Kunin? Remind me of that.
Brandon Coe.
Brandon Coe.
Who then proceeded to score like 2 goals, I think, the next day.
Yeah, like he's Brandon Coe. I mean, he's definitely cooled off again a little bit. Has Brandon Coe, and he made a really brutal hit that I'm surprised didn't get him a suspension. Right. But yeah, I called Brandon Coe AHL Luke Kunin. I think I was just mad because Tristan Robbins is injured. I took it out on Brandon Coe. But no, actually, Brandon Coe like made an asshole of me, which happens, and I'm happy when that happens. Yeah, I know. Look, Kunin will come back to earth for sure. Like again, for sure, he's absolutely going to come back to earth, and I'm sure my shark shit list will refill with people in a season like this. I promise that will happen. But tonight it's nice to let everyone out, and like everyone gets a stay of execution once in a while.
Can we touch on Lacey's comment about Vlasic being scratched and how good the Sharks team looked without Vlasic on that D-core? Like the D-core looks defensively better without Vlasic. Like,
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad Kevin brought that up in the chat because.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
And I kind of alluded to this earlier a little bit too, like with the lines. Like I kind of liked the way the lines, like it was very intriguing when you looked at the scratches and you looked at the lines. I'm like, this is interesting. There's been a lot of like talk about guys not being held accountable for their play, and like you can't hold, like on a team that's been this bad, you can't hold everyone accountable as much as maybe you would like. But like as much as David Quinn kind of gets beaten with this, he's not playing with the kids and the kids are getting held more accountable. Like Vlasic's a guy who makes $7 million who's sat for a couple of games now. Like again, I know David Quinn isn't everyone's favorite coach, but like I feel like, to me anyway, I think he's done a good job of holding guys to account. Maybe like again, you can't hold everyone accountable. You can't just scratch Vlasic forever. Like that's in an ideal world, I guess you could, but that's just never gonna happen. But it was nice that when guys like Vlasic are out of the lineup, like I thought the D was pretty good tonight. Again, they made and again you can also say like the Blues weren't very good, and I think that has to be stated. But again, like I thought the D did a lot of interesting things tonight. I thought early on, I thought everything they did kind of worked. And again, it's easy to do when the team that you're playing isn't playing their best hockey, but they made a lot of like all the moves that they made, all the pinches, like everything was kind of on point early on, and it continued enough that I think that you could entertain at least. Maybe Vlasic doesn't come back in the lineup next game. I don't know.
Because I really like Emberson and Addison. Like I think both of them are young defensemen who can move the puck up the ice, and the Sharks are actually getting like ozone time. Because when you didn't have any of those two young guys like actually playing and getting the puck up, who was getting the puck up? Like Burrows. You know what I mean? So it's just nice to have two young guys who can move the puck up. And I've really liked Emberson. Like, I don't think we give that guy enough credit personally. Like, he has some rough spots, but he don't forget the Sharks picked him up on waivers. And he was a pretty good gem for them.
Yeah, you look at, I mean, and we can all say like $13 million in cap space scratched, and this is what happens. I mean, it's all very amusing, right? But I mean, this is just the reality that we're in. Obviously, look at, we all know that Vlasic is a contract that the Sharks will be very happy to have off the books. Like it's a bad contract. We all know it. The Sharks know it. We know it. I mean, again, I think like the Sharks have done a good job of what Mike Grier I think has done a good job of is getting money off the books that was going to be here for a long time. Like, again, Brent Burns. I love Brent Burns, and Brent Burns is he worth all $8 million? I don't know. I think Carolina, he looks very good for him right now. Erik Karlsson off the books. I think like that. I think if they could get Vlasic off the books in a way that didn't include giving up draft capital that obviously the Sharks don't want to give up at this point. Or, like I think if there was a taker for Vlasic, the Sharks would happily do it. But again, you can only retain so much money. You can only have so much money retained, and and the Sharks absolutely cannot afford to give up draft capital to get Vlasic off the books. Like sometimes you just have to ride things out.
Yeah, and also the way I think AJ points it out a lot, the way Greer seems to be building is the minute Vlasic deal is up, I think that's when the Sharks are going to start being competitive again with their new young core. That's the hope, and that's the prayer, I guess. So hopefully when Vlasic is off the books, the Sharks are hopefully back in the playoffs with their new young up and coming core.
So here's the thing, and this is a great question, right? Like obviously it's like can Vlasic currently go down? Vlasic isn't an idiot, or his agent probably is an idiot. I know it's going to say if you go to Cap Friendly, modified no trade clause, right? But you don't get a 3-team trade list and not have some sort of protection from being sent through waivers. We don't have the contract in front of us. I know Cap Friendly is really good about these things, but I want to think that Vlasic agent is smart enough. Like your 3-team no trade list means shit if you can get sent through waivers, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that there is something in Vlasic's contract that would prevent him from being sent through waivers to be sent to the Barracuda. Like there's probably protection there. That's just my opinion.
It's 3 more years of this shitty deal. We've handled this deal for 5 years, and it really became shitty like 3 years ago. So I think Greer's going to ride it out. I don't think Vlasic's going to get bought out. I think he's just going to be healthy scratched a lot.
Why would you buy him out? Like,
why?
The other thing with Vlasic's contract is there's a lot of signing bonus money in there, which makes a buyout just excruciatingly painful, even in the later years of it.
Yeah. So 3 more years left, and Quinn is taking account for his veterans, which I was very happy to see this year with benching Vlasic, benching Burrows when they're not having a good game. Quinn holds them accountable, and it's not just the kids that are being held accountable, it's everyone, it seems like, is held accountable. So I like to see that.
You love to see that. Yeah.
I just think that there's got to be there's probably something there that would stop this from happening. I don't know that for sure. I do not have Marc-Edouard Vlasic's contract information in front of me, word for word. But I feel like when you look at some of these deals with, a really tight trade list, again, Marc-Edouard Vlasic can be traded to 3 teams of his choosing. You don't. That kind of means nothing if you allow him, if there's some sort of waiver eligibility there. That's just my opinion. Again, I could be wrong. I might be wrong. I don't have the contract in front of me, but you would think, right? You would think.
Yeah. Kevin in the chat saying that's a really good point. Ian, you think that Sharks would have just tried throwing it out there to give themselves options, and AJ mentioning, no reason to buy out Vlasic if the playoff window is slammed shut. No need to keep the money longer than needed. Yeah, you don't want to go
it's
3 more years than
buyout. It's a gross buyout.
Unless you want to be competitive, unless you're telling us the Sharks are going to be competitive, don't move that contract. Just let it be until it runs out, and then hopefully by the time it runs out, the Sharks are back onto the horse of being a competitive team again.
And I don't think and again, I know that people like a lot of some of these players that they brought in that they're trying out that are the Embersons, the Addisons and whatnot, but I don't I know, and and I love Henry Thrun as much as the next guy, but I don't think that Vlasic's contract is the only thing keeping Henry Thrun out of the NHL.
No.
So, one more thing. I think this was originally from NHL PR. The Sharks scored 3 times in the opening 3:25 of the second period for their 4th fastest 3 goals to open a period in franchise history. That's
of course.
That's nice of that.
That's nice, yeah.
Coming up for the Sharks, they're off till Monday. They will begin a stretch of 4 games in the week. They will begin in Vancouver.
Did somebody say
Vancouver?
Yes.
Oh God.
And
yeah,
then,
I like that.
Man from Boston, please come to the Sharks.
Pain. That's going to be that. Vancouver's been so good. It does help. Like, I think Vancouver's looking a little bit better than they are just because everything they seem to shoot on the net goes in. Kind of like Seattle last year. Like Seattle, just everything they shot on net went in, and now that's not happening this year, and everything's kind of come back to earth for them a little bit. I think Vancouver's a team that's doing. I think they're good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Vancouver's a good team, and they should be a good team with a lot of the young talent that they've accumulated. I'm not looking forward to that game. I think Vancouver's going to lay waste to this team again.
Hopefully not 10 though.
Please, hopefully not 10.
Duvall is just in the chat. Go ahead, puck guy.
I'll wait till Monday.
Nope.
That's what the Sounders
You got to
for.
you look at the people. You got to give the audience what they want. I'm not saying the paying audience. I don't think we made money tonight.
AHA, cover your ears. Vancouver. There you go. Yeah, so they scored 325 in the opening period. Can you name the other 3 seasons without looking in the chat that were better? And two of the teams currently don't exist.
Sorry, I had to bite my foot. It hurt because he has a little sharp teeth.
Little chomper there. Hi, Titan. The only other instances that occurred February 26th of 1992, that's the first period, or the first year of the Sharks' existence, 2:38 second period against the Quebec Nordiques. November of 2006, coming out of the that horrible lockout against the LA Kings, and I think they eventually lost that game. And then November 28th, 1992, the second season, just a second under 3 minutes against the Minnesota North Stars. So
there you have it.
AJ, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I said I'm sorry. So all right.
Puppies are so funny. Like, he gets up, he bites my foot as hard as he possibly can, and then he just turns around and goes back to sleep.
Burge, thank you for the nice transition. I would like to hear number 18 Ottawa and once in a while as well, or Ottawa. AJ, I know you're watching, and this is a great way to promote the Pucknologists on Sunday because we're off for the rest of the weekend now, except for those who work retail, damn it. Pucknologists, Sunday night, 7 p.m. They'll recap the 2 games, get you ready for. I'm hoping there are Thanksgiving power rankings for side dishes. I would look forward to that. We'll see on that if sure can weave a way around the F1 disaster that's going on in Vegas as we speak. So with that, I think we are pretty good. Let's see. So what you're saying is there's a 68.7 chance of the Blues folding because we scored through 3 goals since Quebec and the North Stars don't exist. Yes.
Sorry, St. Louis.
St. Louis. Sorry. You're going to be like the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs in season 1 of Shoresy. You lose, you fold.
Oh, man. I mean, the North Stars didn't fold. They just moved to Dallas. So maybe the Blues are getting relocated. Sorry. Again, man. Sorry.
God.
Jesus. The Houston Blues. That you heard it here first.
Oh God.
Ouch. Ouch.
Someone clip that.
All right. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out at tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, either live or recorded, leave us a comment down below as your thoughts on tonight's game and more. Of course, hit that like button, subscribe button, and that notification bell. It does go a long way to help us out. And of course, all of our content is at tealtownusa.com.
I'm sorry. You know what? Yeah, it's look at again. It's a really shitty night to make a relocation joke. I agree. Knowing what I know, look at. I didn't even think about that. Look at guys. Again, I understand like this, like you know, Bay Area is where our bread and butter is again. I'm not a Bay Area sports fan. I'm just a Sharks fan. I feel really shitty about what's happening with the A's. I've said that on numerous occasions. I don't know what I would do if the Sharks ever got relocated. I don't know what I would do. And I feel bad for any fan that has to have their team relocated. It's a shitty thing. I've watched, obviously, other fan bases up here lose their teams. It sucks, right? It super sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a shitty time to make a relocation joke, but it was there.
We know what you meant, and I don't think you were trying to be
I
completely at all.
I wasn't trying to be insensitive. It was just that obviously the North Stars went to Texas, so I just where's the relocation and target in Texas, Houston. It's a shitty thing to lose your team, obviously, and my thoughts are with you, A's fans. It sucks. I'm not a baseball guy at all, but again, it sucks.
Yeah, it's the saddest part about this all. And first off, we know Brody Brazil, who does pre and post game. He also does pre and post game for the A's and everything. He's been on this since this whole thing went crazy. I feel for him because that's a job for him as well. But at the same time, A's ownership didn't give a damn. You rise ticking. It's literally the pages out of Major League.
This story, it's not something that I personally care about, but I know a lot of my friends on Twitter are just heartbroken right now over this, right? So to them, obviously I feel bad for them. I've obviously followed it through them. I have a lot of people I follow on Twitter that are obviously from the Bay Area. I completely get it. I'm heartbroken for you. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't personally care, but I'm sad for you.
Yeah, and it sucks, and for everyone in Oakland and the A's fans, I know a lot of you have kind of jumped ship already to the Oakland Roots and the Oakland Soul professional soccer teams that are out there. Love to see it, but I will also say I know there is a boatload of A's fans who are also Sharks fans, and it's always been Teal together, baby. So it sucks, but it's nice to welcome you back with open arms. It sucks that April to October might be a rough stretch, but we're all here for you on that one. Also, it was Hockey Fights Cancer night tonight. It was great to see Quinn, who was out at the practice facility, having some fun, getting sprayed.
You know what's funny? The other thing too, and I want to say this, and I know it's not again, not really relevant. I'm just dragging the show out for the sake of dragging it out now.
Oh,
but
boy.
I love Sergei Bobrovsky having his purple mask and everything after told Logan Thompson he couldn't put a ribbon on his fucking helmet because of the gong show that is now. We can't do anything because I'm not going to get into that we don't need to get into, but props to Bobrovsky for still having his mask and being meh.
Right,
some real Ian Reid energy there. Just fuck y'all.
But I will say, I know Sheng tweeted out a picture of Duclair and next to the Hockey Fights Cancer logo, and I'm like, you're right, dude. It would be nice if Duclair was rocking lavender, maybe with a hint of silver, since it was the 25th anniversary. So,
yeah. So I don't. Again, we're not. I'm not gonna drag it out for conversation. It's just not gonna.
And now for the Barracuda update. Here's no kidding.
Hey, Barracuda. Again, if you want some Barracuda content, awesome show last night with Nick Nolenberger. Like I said, it's about an hour of your time if you're looking for. A quick bite for us, because maybe not for After Dark unless I'm on, because then I like to drag things out. Pucknologist is 6.5 hours, so if you need a quick hour of something, right there, tight bite.
On
AJ's
that,
sending me death. I'm gonna go into. Go into Twitter and AJ's gonna decapitate me.
Excuse me. The opinions expressed by Ian Reid do not necessarily represent all of Teal Town USA or their affiliates.
That's right. Yeah. Ian's thoughts are Ian's own. And again, Pucknologist this Sunday. I love Jerk. I love AJ. Everyone knows these things. This is all in good fun.
Yeah. No, we're having a good time. So, with that, we'll go with the final thoughts with Jules first.
Yeah, don't let Ian talk ever again.
No. Enjoy the Sharks win. Also a few prospects are playing this weekend to keep an eye out. I don't remember who. I'm definitely not prepared for that to say that. But a few Sharks prospects are playing. I believe Will Smith is back in action. Luka Cagnoni is probably going to put up 5 points again. So, casually. Follow Teal Town, join Pucknologists so I can continue cursing Jerks and AJ's bets. Thank you. Come again.
Yes, and AJ has written, says Ian has offended me. Wow. Way to go, Ian. Nice job. All right.
Look at my final thoughts are when the Sharks do good, it's good, because what else can I say at this point?
Right. So you can find Jules at Sharks_Jules. You can find Ian at Ian Blogs Hockey. You can find myself at PuckGuy14 all over the social medias. So Pucknologist Sunday night, 7 p.m. We'll recap that week. Should be a good one. Then we'll be back with you Monday as the Sharks take on the Canucks. And that'll start a 4-game week where we got the Canucks, Kraken, Montreal on the Black Friday afternoon, and then Saturday night I will see you at the Tank for gaming night, which is one of my favorite nights, and especially how I like to decor the thumbnails for sure on that one. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. One more time, the Sharks win 5-1 over the St. Louis Blues. Yeah. And until Monday for Sharks and Canucks, and Sunday for Pucknologists, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you Sunday night and Monday night. Good night, everyone.